les services publics parisiens, tout le monde est ici présent pour les déroulements de carrière, Madame la maire.
La liste des revendications est très longue. Aujourd'hui, on fait un focus sur les ratios promus-promovables, alors qu'on est bloqué depuis de nombreuses années. Le point d'indice est bloqué, les promotions sont bloquées, et comme tu l'as dit, on affiche des grands principes de gauche sur le parvis d'Hôtel de Ville à chaque occasion, libérer Florence Cassé, liberté dans le monde entier. Mais il faut voir la cuisine interne à la mairie de Paris, ça sent pas vraiment bon.
Ouais, je m'appelle Christian Garnier, je suis conducteur à la mairie de Paris, tout permis, et nous on fait grève, on a fait grève lundi. Les conducteurs, les éboueurs, les fossoyeurs et les égoutiers. Les conducteurs, on n'en a pas parlé à la télévision. On a eu 100% de grévistes du lundi en conducteur, pratiquement 100%. Et 80% tous les garages de la mairie de Paris.
Et on nous bafoue, on nous roule dans la farine et on nous fait régresser de plus en plus. Et donc on est vraiment déçus que notre mairie de gauche applique surtout une politique de droite.
On est tous mobilisés, les syndicats, parce qu'aujourd'hui on constate qu'avec le blocage de l'indice, les salaires n'augmentent pas, baissent, alors que l'ensemble de la vie, les contraintes augmentent. C'est parce qu'en fait, il y a une négociation qui fait qu'on appelle ça un ratio, va être décidé par le Conseil de Paris en décembre.
Les gens sont tous réunis, il y a 7 syndicats qui sont sur la place là. Le ratio promouvable, c'est l'évolution de carrière. C'est-à-dire qu'à un moment donné, quelqu'un qui passe 50 ans ne pourra jamais accéder à son grade optimum. Donc il sera toujours à un grade moyen. Ça permet à la mairie de faire des économies et les gens qui ont 40 ans d'ancienneté n'accéderont jamais à l'indice le maximum. Ils resteront toujours au moyen. Avant, ça s'appelait l'ancienneté. Donc Sarkozy a cassé l'ancienneté. Pour appeler ça le mérite. Mais mérite, c'est pas du mérite, c'est à la gueule du client, c'est du clientélisme.
Les services publics parisiens, tout le monde est ici présent pour les déroulements de carrière, Madame la maire. Oui, des déroulements de carrière. Oui, les feuilles de paye. Et l'arrêt, sans arrêt, de l'austérité, de la diminution des salaires, par le blocage du point d'indice, par les politiques d'austérité et les futurs plans de Paris Métropole qui ne vont aller que dans ce sens. Le plan d'économie à la mairie de Paris, qui fait qu'effectivement nos salaires sont bloqués, les déroulements de carrière de plus en plus impossibles, avec le passage au choix de plus en plus priorisé, comme dans le privé. 100%! Le ratio à 100%!
People's drinking water, for communities, for the salmon stocks, which are so important to this region, all the way as it goes back to northern Alberta, where we already know the impacts that it's having on the Athabasca River, which has become one of the most polluted waterways in the world, and the human health impacts that's having on First Nations communities downstream.
Alberta tar sands, the biggest industrial project in the world, where the size of Earth that they want to move is the size of Texas. Kinder Morgan make $13 million a day. And not only do they make that much, but they're subsidized by our Canadian government. We immobilized the community, 100% consensus by Tsleil-Waututh Nation, where we had a referendum and they said, we could negotiate for millions of dollars with Kinder Morgan. That could help some of our people out of poverty. Or we could use our own little resources that we have and fight them. 100% consensus, we chose to fight him.
So right here is home. We haven't left. This is where we've been for thousands of years. 85% of our diet came from the waters behind us. We've been measuring the quality of water here for about 20 years. It's getting progressively worse. We're devastated, and what we're trying to do is rehabilitate the damage that has caused. We're going to court soon, Canada, for not consulting us on the Kinder Morgan expansion. One of the ministers said, why don't the First Nations take the money? They need it. We don't need it more than our land. We'll do whatever it takes to make sure this doesn't happen in any way possible.
We are going to launch a massive flotilla of boats from here and surround the terminal on the other side where tankers fill up, as well as have a group of folks on land march to the gates of the marine terminal so that we block it from both the land and the water. It is in a lot of ways a battle between a story of the old and a story of the new. There's a lot of powerful forces trying to make sure that the story of the old continues for as long as it can. We've seen disobedience move from being something that a few people do to a mass movement confronting the fossil fuel industry.
A massive oil rig outfitted for Royal Dutch Shell's remote Arctic exploration parked in Seattle's harbor on Thursday, but not everyone is happy about it.
They have convinced us progress is only made through exploitation of the earth. Everyone is coming to protest. We have scientists, ecologists, and city council members who are willing to get arrested because they understand the severity of this moment. Stand up in whatever manner you can. This is our lunch counter to sit on. This is our history to be made. We hold the world in our hands. Thank you.
Civil disobedience is a powerful tool in social justice work. The law, it's not sacred, and to challenge it shakes our consciousness. If you can take that radical action in a way that genuinely speaks to everybody else, then you not only have their attention, you have their inspiration, and you build movements that way. Number one, preparation. Calibrate what you are asking for and how you ask for it so that you can win it. Then you've got to choose your strategy. You've got to choose a tactic, a target that can successfully grab public attention. Then you've got to make sure that your execution is flawless. The media will look for every opportunity to delegitimize you. If there is one misstep, one act of violence, it's over.
I've never been in the White House, but the ability to chain myself to the outside of the White House turned out to be important and empowering, and anyone can do it. Most of us don't have huge sums of money. All of us have a body that we can put in the way. I want to say very clearly that civil disobedience is but one tool in the activist toolbox. It's not the first one that you should reach for, and if you use it all the time, like any other tool, it's going to get dull. That said, civil disobedience has a role to play. Nobody should have to go to jail about climate change. In a rational system, that would be the last thing that would happen. But because the way power is distributed in our world, sometimes we have to.
One of the central threats to democracy today is the corporate capture of government. We are up against tremendous resources, and those resources are smart. The corporation goes straight to the politician that's going to be on the committee, that's going to pass the law that they want to pass, and threatens their re-election at exactly the right time. The strategy of global corporations on climate change was partly to recognize that they had a trump card with the United States government. They could stand in the way of global action by blocking American action. There's a level of state failure in the United States. The legislature is bought and paid for by oil companies and other companies. We have to roll back corporate capture of our governments if we want to try and fix these problems that conflict directly with their industry bottom line.
There's nothing radical about anything we're talking about. Radicals work at oil companies. If you are willing to get up in the morning and make your fortune by altering the chemical composition of the atmosphere, and you're willing to do it when scientists have told you what would happen, and once you've seen it happen, once you've watched the Arctic start to melt, if you're willing to do that, then you're a radical, and our job is to try and check that radicalism.
An investigation is underway into ExxonMobil, the huge oil company, buried research about the effects of climate change.
Reports suggest more than 30 years ago, Exxon's own scientists were taking climate change projections into account in its operational plans.